I'd like to introduce you to a data set called the OpenStreetMap, which is probably the most extensive and complete and valuable piece of volunteered geographic information. This is a street map which is expanded to include all kinds of infrastructure, and it has been built by a team of approximately 2 million volunteers who have contributed small road networks, building outlines, delineations of wetlands or forested areas, as well as the street network in an entire location. This is what you are seeing now is a small city in Poland, which is actually the city that I trace my own genealogy back, and it's the furthest back that it can be traced, is back to a person who lived in this city in the 1700s, and as remote and far away and exotic a place as it is, we still can see that thanks to the mappers who are volunteering geographic information, actually individual buildings and pathways, footpaths and sidewalk type areas, as well as roads that cars can go on, canals, parks, and many other features. Individual trees, it seems like, are all part of this data set, which is really quite exceptional. And what we have here is data that is orders of magnitude better than was even possible to get by paying big bucks for it 5 or 10 years ago. And now this information is in a publicly accessible wide open database, thanks to the efforts of 2 million people with GPS units or the ability to heads-up digitize on top of air photos and locate roads, buildings, and even put the street addresses into the attached street addresses as attributes to all these buildings. So this is really quite an extensive, railroads as well. This is really quite an extensive, detailed, and amazing data set. And just to give an idea of how much information there is, there's a vast amount of information loaded just into this one small city in Poland. And as we zoom out, we realize that that huge glob of information is just a tiny fraction of all of the information in that part of Poland, or the entirety of Poland, or the entirety of Northern Europe. And as we zoom out, we see all of the different regions and states and counties. We have OpenStreetMap obviously available in our area as well, because we have volunteer mappers as well. We'll see how well it's mapped in another area I'm familiar with. So zooming into a fairly remote part of the state, we see power transmission lines, a county boundary, neighborhood streets, all of the interchanges in great detail, park areas, in a place equally obscure, I suppose, to a small town in northern Poland as well. A road that I didn't even know was there, as well as a variety of other features. And another road I didn't actually know was there. So this is a substantial, amazing data set that includes information all over the place. Again, contributed entirely by volunteer mappers who have done all of this work for no compensation. So how does one get to information in the OpenStreetMap? I'm going to zoom out to this for my next video. How does one get to the OpenStreetMap? It is possible to extract any or all of this information. It's not really practical for somebody to decide to download the entire OpenStreetMap because it runs to many terabytes of information across many different layers. So usually people will take an extract. One can extract directly from the OpenStreetMap site using the export tool, and you can pick a geographic bound from which you would like to grab all of the OpenStreetMap information. One possible disadvantage is harkens back to our concept of interoperability. OpenStreetMap has its own individual data format, so downloading the data directly from OpenStreetMap will give one data in the OSM data format, which takes some amount of conversion or manipulation to use it in a GIS or to use it in other applications. So the data interoperability for OpenStreetMap is not completely direct. One thing that's very helpful is a website called GeoFabric, which stands for Map Factory, or translates to Map Factory in German, and it's a site that's based in Germany, a company that's based in Germany. Their monetization, their business plan, is to get people to their site and then sell them very customized, very nicely manipulated extracts from OpenStreetMap that are very easy to use and directly what somebody would need, and charge a modest amount for that. They also are willing to provide data extracts that they grab from OpenStreetMap every day and put on their server, and it's possible to get an extract from all different places in the world. And I'm going to take a chance in this video and see what we have in Africa, and it seems that and there are different data formats. OpenStreetMap format, the PBF format, which is which is somewhat harder to use. Whenever we see the words SHP or the abbreviation SHP, the words shapefile, we feel happier, and it seems like we can go ahead and get OpenStreetMap, and we'll pick a smaller one here. I guess we should pick a relatively smaller one, the country of Namibia, and we can go right ahead and download the shapefile, ESRI compatible shapefiles, 13 hours old, so it's extremely up to date with a file size of 20 megabytes. And given 44 seconds to wait, I will have in my hands shapefiles of the best available infrastructure data, the best available roads, and probably many of the best available infrastructure data sets that are possible to get for the country of Namibia in Southwest Africa. And perhaps I'll share this data set with you in a future video once I look at it and pick some highlights and get my script ready for that. So that's OpenStreetMap and how one uses it. And I'll make another video to finish off the VGI lessons.